On March 7th, 1999, one of cinema's greatest directors died in his sleep, exactly 666 days after the opening sequence of his final film, a film about elite secret societies. A film that was cut by 24 minutes before release, a film he didn't live to see in theaters. Coincidence? Or did Stanley Kubrick know too much? Welcome back, where we explore the mysteries they don't want you to think about. I'm Eli, and today, we're diving into one of Hollywood's darkest secrets, the mysterious death of Stanley Kubrick. Now, before you click away thinking this is just another conspiracy theory, ask yourself this: why did one of the most powerful directors in Hollywood, who had complete creative control, suddenly die just days after delivering his final cut? Why were 24 minutes removed from his last film? And why did his family act so strangely in the aftermath? If you're ready to see how deep this rabbit hole goes, hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to discover will change how you watch movies forever. And if you make it to the end, I've got a question that'll blow your mind. Let's get into it. First, let's establish why Stanley Kubrick wasn't just any director. This was a man who made NASA rethink their space program after 2001, A Space Odyssey. A perfectionist who would shoot scenes 127 times until he got what he wanted. A filmmaker who had creative control written into his contracts, something almost unheard of in Hollywood. Kubrick didn't just make movies. He embedded messages, symbols, and hidden meanings into every frame. He was obsessed with secret societies, government conspiracies, and the hidden power structures controlling our world. His films weren't entertainment. They were warnings. And according to some researchers, that's exactly what got him killed. But it gets even stranger. July 20th, 1969. The world watched as Neil Armstrong took one small step for man. But did he really? Some believe Stanley Kubrick filmed the entire thing in a studio, and they have compelling evidence. In 1968, Kubrick released 2001, A Space Odyssey, a film with special effects so advanced that, even today, filmmakers study how he did it. The film featured footage of space and the moon that looked more realistic than anything NASA had produced. In fact, it looked too realistic. Here's what we know. In 1968, NASA approached front-screen projection experts to consult on the Apollo program. Kubrick had just pioneered this exact technology for 2001. The timing? Suspicious. The access he suddenly had to NASA equipment and Zeiss lenses that were classified? Even more suspicious. According to alleged deathbed confessions, including one from Kubrick's own widow that some claim exists, the director was approached by the U.S. government with an offer he couldn't refuse. In exchange for faking the moon landing footage, he would receive unlimited funding for his future projects and access to any lens technology he wanted. But here's where it gets chilling. Years later, in The Shining, Kubrick allegedly embedded his confession. Danny wears an Apollo 11 sweater. Room 237, the average distance from Earth to the moon is 237,000 miles. The impossible geography of the Overlook Hotel, a metaphor for the impossible physics of the moon landing footage. Some believe Kubrick spent decades trying to tell us the truth through his films. And when he finally decided to reveal everything in his final movie, that's when they silenced him. Here's where things don't add up. Eyes Wide Shut, released in July 1999, was unlike anything Kubrick had made before. Based on a 1926 novella, the film depicted elite secret societies, ritualistic gatherings, and a world hidden from ordinary people. A world where the ultra-wealthy and powerful engage in ceremonies that would shock the public. During production, Kubrick was obsessed with secrecy. The set was completely closed. Actors Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman later described the experience as disturbing and unlike any other film. The ritual scenes took months to shoot, with Kubrick demanding absolute authenticity. But here's what's terrifying. Researchers have identified the symbols, robes, and rituals in the film as matching real ceremonies, conducted by groups like the Illuminati, Skull and Bones, and Bohemian Grove attendees. Kubrick didn't just imagine this. He knew about it. Some say he was invited. Others say he witnessed it. The question is, who told him? On March 1st, 1999, Kubrick showed Warner Brothers his final cut of Eyes Wide Shut. He was reportedly ecstatic. He called it his greatest contribution to cinema. 6 days later, he was dead. The official cause? Heart attack in his sleep. Natural causes. Nothing suspicious. Just a 70-year-old man who happened to die less than a week after completing a film exposing the elite's darkest secrets. But wait, what happened to that final cut he was so proud of? Warner Brothers took possession of the film. When it was released 4 months later, 24 minutes were missing. 24 minutes that Kubrick's family confirmed existed. 24 minutes that we will never see. What was in those 24 minutes? Kubrick's longtime assistant, Leon Vitali, said in interviews that Stanley was excited about scenes that would shake people awake. Scenes that would make people understand how the world really works. Those scenes are gone, erased, and the man who made them, conveniently dead. And here's the detail that makes it impossible to dismiss. Let's talk about numbers. Kubrick was obsessed with numerology and symbolism. Every number in his films meant something. So when researchers discovered this, they couldn't believe it. Stanley Kubrick died on March 7th, 1999. The opening scene of Eyes Wide Shut takes place at a Christmas party. Using the original shooting script's timeline, that party scene is set exactly 666 days before Kubrick's death. 666, the biblical number of the beast, a number associated with the Illuminati, secret societies, and occult rituals. The same groups depicted in Eyes Wide Shut. Coincidence? Maybe. But remember, Kubrick didn't believe in coincidences. He planned every detail of his films down to the millimeter. Is it possible he knew? Is it possible they told him? Some researchers believe Kubrick was given a warning. Others think he was given a deadline. You have 666 days. It sounds insane, until you remember who we're talking about. These are people who communicate through symbols, people who operate in a world we don't see. And Kubrick had just exposed them to the world. But here's what the skeptics say. Now, in the interest of fairness, let's look at the official explanation and what debunkers claim. Stanley Kubrick was 70 years old when he died. He had a history of heart problems. His personal physician confirmed he'd been on medication. The coroner ruled it natural causes, a myocardial infarction. Nothing unusual for a man his age. As for the missing 24 minutes, Warner Brothers claims those scenes were removed for pacing and runtime. They say Kubrick himself approved cuts during test screenings. The 666 days? Pure numerology nonsense. You can find patterns in anything if you look hard enough. The moon landing connection? Thoroughly debunked by scientists. The technology to fake the moon landing didn't exist in 1969, and thousands of people worked on the Apollo program. A conspiracy that massive couldn't stay hidden. And as for secret societies? Sure, elite groups exist. But jumping from Kubrick made a movie about them to they killed him for it is, according to skeptics, a leap too far. Let's talk about numbers. Kubrick was obsessed with numerology and symbolism. Every number in his films meant something. So when researchers discovered this, they couldn't believe it. Stanley Kubrick died on March 7th, 1999. The opening scene of Eyes Wide Shut takes place at a Christmas party. Using the original shooting script's timeline, that party scene is set exactly 666 days before Kubrick's death. 666, the biblical number of the beast, a number associated with the Illuminati, secret societies, and occult rituals. The same groups depicted in Eyes Wide Shut. Coincidence? Maybe. But remember, Kubrick didn't believe in coincidences. He planned every detail of his films down to the millimeter. But then ask yourself this. Why did his family refuse to speak about the missing scenes for years? Why were the original negatives of that footage reportedly destroyed? And why did multiple people close to Kubrick describe him as terrified in his final weeks? Maybe Stanley Kubrick died of natural causes. Maybe he took secrets with him by chance. Or maybe, just maybe, he got too close to the truth. Maybe he saw what happens at those ceremonies. Maybe he knew too much about the moon landing. Maybe he thought he was untouchable. until he realized he wasn't. The truth is, we may never know. But one thing's certain. Stanley Kubrick spent his entire career trying to wake us up. And if his death was meant to silence him, well, here we are, still talking about it. His eyes may have closed, but ours are wide open. So, what do you think? Was Stanley Kubrick murdered for what he knew? Or did he simply die at the worst possible time? Drop your theories in the comments. I read every single one. If this video opened your eyes, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries they don't want you to know about. Hit the notification bell because YouTube doesn't always show you our videos. Wonder why that is? Next time, we're investigating the strange death of another truth-teller who got too close, Michael Jackson, and his final warning about the music industry. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Until then, keep your eyes wide open. The truth is out there, if you're brave enough to look.